In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to simulate a massive nuclear explosion in Embergen and export and render it in Blender. I spent a while trying to get a cool simulation in Blender, and eventually I gave up and downloaded Embergen. Embergen 1.1 is arguably one of the best and fastest smoke simulation softwares available today, and it's very intuitive. There's a few elements to a nuclear explosion. There's the mushroom cloud and then a few different shock waves. One that hits the ground and kicks up a bunch of dust and smoke and debris, and another shock wave that travels through the air that causes water vapor to condense into a cloud. I'm going to upload all my source files to my Patreon. This includes my Blender scene file that has the explosion volume shader and a little ocean environment. I'm not going to include the VDB for the explosion because it is 45 gigabytes, but I will include my source file for my Embergen explosion. Check out my Patreon. I'll be updating it with more work in progress stuff than on my YouTube, and I can also answer all of your VFX related questions. First, I'm going to show you the absolute basics of how to use Embergen. I've loaded up the default start file for Embergen, and here you've got your viewport, your timeline, and your node graph. You won't have to build out any of these things because they're just in here by default. But this is where you choose what to emit, and this is where you simulate it, and then it gets rendered off in these nodes over here. So if I just delete these, I can show you how to build it from the ground up. So right click and you can add things in. First, let's add a shape. It'll be a sphere by default. And then you can add an emitter volume to that, which will emit smoke and fire from the shape. Drag emitter into emitters for the simulation, and then you should have some fire and smoke. If you want more fire and smoke, click on emitter volume, and in the emission tab, just crank up the fuel rate, and also you crank up the smoke rate. For a more interesting simulation, let's add a force noise. If you plug that into the forces for the emitter volume, that will give it some initial velocity, and that already helps quite a bit. And then if you duplicate this noise and plug it into the simulation forces, that will give it a constant force, which is a little too strong. Maybe I want a scale of like 2, so it's really small, and then maybe I'll just turn down the amplitude a bunch, which is the strength, and now it's not being so crazy. If you turn off this noise force, there's also a default amount of breakup from the simulation node, and that is controlled in the vorticity tab. So right now we have vorticity of 5%. If you turn that off, your smoke simulation gets a lot more boring. Large vorticity is also useful if you want a large scale curling effect. So maybe a mixture of both can be useful. And then it's useful to add the noise back in just for that extra small scale detail. You can also import geometry and use it as an emitter or as a collider. Like if you like, and subscribe if you want more. Let's make a nuclear explosion. Because I'm lazy, I'm going to start with a preset, and I'm going to use Artillery Explosion 2 because it has this mushroom shape already. So let's start with that. I just need to make this explosion look a lot bigger, and I want it to be more of just like the generic mushroom cloud shape, not as broken up. And this vorticity is just a little too strong. It just looks like it's being shredded apart. So I need to do a few changes. First, I'm going to start by changing some stuff in the simulation node. And I'm going to turn off some things. I'm going to turn off the forces right now. This force noise is just adding some turbulence. Going to turn that off, and the line is shooting the smoke up. So let's turn those off. And then I've got a shape, which is just emitting some extra smoke. And then I've got some high-speed particles and some spark particles that travel along the volume. So all I want is these two right now. I don't need sparks. It's too big of an explosion for that, so I'm going to turn that off. And then let's check out what we have. So first, let's set up our simulation settings to something that works better. If we go into the domain tab, I'm going to change the voxel size, which determines your scene size. So if you reduce the voxel size, it's like the explosion is bigger because each voxel is 0.3 meters instead of 0.5 meters. It won't change your resolution, it's just going to change the behavior of your simulation. So now your stuff is going to be expanding a lot more, but it's going to look larger scale. I also want to change how fast the simulation is, and we can do that to a degree in time control. Time step. This will change the behavior of your simulation, but will also make it slower. So I'm just going to make it something like 150 and check out what happens. It's going to be a lot slower, and it's going to have more time steps, so it's going to be a little more detailed. Now it's just a mushy mass, though. It's not quite the shape we want yet. For one, it's being shredded apart too much. And that's because our vorticity settings are too high. So I'm just going to turn vorticity down to like 1 for now. And I'm going to give it some large vorticity of maybe 2%. Let's retry that and see what it looks like. The great thing about Embergen is you can test it without waiting. It just simulates real quick. So we're not really getting an explosion or billowing smoke because this explosion is too varied. There's like little streamers shooting off and it's just breaking it up. So I need to adjust the particle emitter. If I turn off the cylinder, let's see what the particle emitter is doing on its own. It's just shooting out a bunch of like streams of particles. I want it to be more of just a dome of fire. So if we go to particle settings, initial forces, the emission speed limits will set the range between different velocities for each particle. So they'll vary the particle velocity between these two values. So I'm just going to bring these closer together and we'll get more of a just a sphere of fire. Now if I turn the volume back on, we got this sphere of fire that expands. But another thing is it's traveling up too fast. Like there's no connection to the ground. And this center position offset actually makes the particles fly up because they're flying away from their initial position and we're making the initial position below the ground. So let's just turn that in half to like -8, and now the particles will just be going outward more. And hopefully more of the smoke will stick to the ground. I think there's just too much variation in the particle velocity still, so I'm just going to drag these sliders even closer. I want more fire in my explosion. So because this volume is adding extra smoke, I'm just going to have it add extra fire too. So under fuel emission, turn it to add, and I'm going to make it maybe value of 200. And we immediately have a bunch more fire, and that looks more like a nuclear explosion. These shapes are a little too simple. I need a lot more detail, and I'm going to add that detail with noise. So I'm going to turn this force noise back on, and I'm going to reduce the scale down to 2 because I want it to be very small. I'm going to give it more octaves so it has more detail. Maybe that's necessary, maybe not. I'm going to turn the luminarity up and then the gain up, which means smaller scale detail is amplified and it's almost as strong as large scale. So we're just giving ourselves a highly detailed noise. And then I'm going to change the amplitude to 15. And let's see what that does. And it looks like it's successfully breaking up those bits, and you're getting all this beautiful little wispiness happening. Our simulation is getting cut off, and you can adjust that in the domain settings. So click on simulation, domain, and on the Z value, just crank it up to like 450. And then you'll have to click apply resolution and restart your simulation. I don't like how you can see all these streamers coming out. I just want it more like a just clean sphere of fire. So in the particle emitters, I'm just going to reduce the velocity a bit more. Now, one thing I'm missing is I don't have anything on the ground. So I'm going to turn on this ground shockwave that is in the preset already. And let's check out what that looks like. Well, it's a bit big and it goes out way too far. So I'm going to steal this shape. It's just a torus. I'm going to make it smaller so it is inside the radius of our explosion. And then for the particle initial force, I'm going to reduce that down so it's not quite as strong. And then I don't like how tall this, here I'll show you. I don't like how tall that this is. I want it to be closer into the ground. So I'm going to emit it so it gets emitted towards the ground, which you can do with the center position offset. If you just increase the Z value to like 1 or 2, let's try 1, it should spray the stuff down. It's still got a bit too much velocity. Let's reduce that down to like half of what it is. And there you have it. Those are pretty much all the settings I had to change to get my nuclear explosion. So to export this explosion, I just need to go to volume processing, and where it says VDB, I'm just going to drag out and it's going to let you create a VDB export node. And then down here in directory, just navigate to your directory and export that. You'll need to set your frame range, so I'd set the number of frames here, and then just click export now. Down here in controls, just check all these boxes: export temperature, fuel, velocity. That way you have that information for when you bring it into Blender. One thing I did for my final quality explosion is upscale it. Beware of this setting. If you turn it on, your computer may crash, and it's actually pretty hard to stop this from playing back once it's cranked up. For my final quality explosion, I turned this up to 2 times. Once you've got your explosion exported, hop into Blender and hit Shift A, Volume, Import Open VDB. I'm going to grab the low resolution cache just for speed, and then you want to grab the first frame of it and then hit A to select all, Import Open VDB. If I go to like frame 180, it'll take a moment to load because these cache files are pretty big. And then if you zoom out, there it will be. The great thing about VDBs is they're really fast to scale and move around. I'm going to go into the shading tab and then just hop into rendered view right away and just add a sunlight. Give it some brightness. And now I'm going to build the shader. So add a new shader, principled volume, and right off the bat it's working with density, but we need to get the flames in there. So I'm going to add an attribute and type in temperature. That's going to access the data that we exported from Embergen. So drag out FAC and do map range. And I need to remap the values because Embergen temperature goes to about 10,000 and Blender doesn't like 10,000. That's a bit bright. So from max should be 10,000. And then it's plugged into the wrong thing, so plug that into the value. And then plug the result into black body intensity. That will shade the fighter as flames or make it all white. That's because this temperature value is still being used and it's not right. So delete that. Now this is shading the whole volume based on temperature. We want to limit that to the flame. So duplicate the attribute, change this to flames. Make sure that matches exactly what this says over here in this data area. And then I'm going to make a math node. And I'm going to multiply by the flame. And now you only see that stuff where there are flames. And it's not very bright at all right now, so I'm going to make another math node and multiply by like 50. And now we've got some pink flames. We can change the color and brightness of our flames with this temperature slider over here. If we make it like 1800, That's going to be more a brighter, more orangey look. That looks good. And then I want my smoke to be more dense. So I'm just going to turn density up to 5. And now we've got a larger scale looking explosion here. One other trick we can do is use temperature, if we copy these 2 nodes, to affect the color of the smoke. So if I make a color ramp node and plug the color into the color for the volume, if I drag this over, you can see that parts are getting shaded brighter up here, and those are the hotter parts. So if I just invert this, the colder parts will be shaded brighter, and then it looks like maybe there's some mistiness down at the bottom, and the top is this darker, denser smoke. And obviously I don't want it to be black. I'm going to make it like a middle gray, and then make it a little greeny yellowy, like nuclear fallout. A couple render settings. If we go over to the render tab, for volumes, you can speed up rendering if you go into the volume settings, step rate render. If you make that something like 5 and do that in the viewport as well, it will speed up render quite a bit. It may introduce some artifacts, so keep that in mind. But I use a step rate of 5 for all of my renders, and it was relatively okay. Another thing for better shading, you'll see these dark black areas are just black. That's because in the light path settings, volume is set to 0 by default. If we increase this to like 6, now you'll get some secondary bounces and you'll get more detail in the shadow areas. I also rendered without motion blur because it seemed like Blender was getting all glitchy with the motion blur. Like, it was way too blurry. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.